right here at Element Gym. And we've got Quincy Caldwell, okay, who's the promoter for this Saturday's fight. And the cool part is that we all know that Caleb was a little bit of a late entry to this next Armory card. And these guys recognized that they both needed to get their work in. They work together.
Yeah.
And to me, it just speaks to what the bond is of Minnesota boxing.
Yeah.
So, let's get an opening statement here from, we'll start with you, Slink, about your fight coming up on Saturday and what it means when you're exchanging blows with a guy like Caleb as a tuna.
Okay, a tuna? No, but I have this fight coming up. It's my biggest fight yet. This Saturday, doors open 5 p.m. Fight starts at 6 p.m. I'm fighting a guy from Las Vegas, part of the money team, Cameron Creel. He's a guy that has a lot of experience, like 30, 40 some fights. So Caleb was the perfect person to help me with this. You know, he was detrimental in my preparation for this fight, and I can't thank him enough. You know, and I can thank him more if he gives me these beers. He gives me these, I don't know what these beers are for, but I would love one of these beers. And we're ready. I'm looking forward to his fight, which is actually next week, Saturday at the Armory, and we'll be live in attendance. And I know he's ready. He's a hard hitter and durable. Like Caleb doesn't get stunned or nothing. You know, so he was perfect for me getting ready for this fight. Yeah, that was good.
Caleb, talk a little bit about getting the late call and now having to respond and be ready, and how much Slink has kind of helped you get to this point.
Yeah, I'm very excited to be back. It's been 2.5 years since I fought. My last fight was January of 2021, so I've been itching to get back in the ring. COVID really put a stall to my career. I had a few fights that fell through. A couple over in Germany I was supposed to go to that got canceled. And I've been training for this fight since the 1st of April, or April 3rd, I believe it was the Monday that I first started training. And I was hoping to get on the card earlier. Thankfully, they added me just a couple weeks ago to the 24th Armory card. And Slink and I have been getting some work in for a couple of years now, and he's a perfect guy for me to spar with. We work together, got some rounds in with Reid too, and that's one thing about Minnesota boxing is we don't have the amount of fighters that they do in California or New York or Philly or wherever. So we all got to work together to make ourselves better, and that's what we do, man. We've been boxing for probably 5-6 times every Wednesday.
Yep, every Wednesday.
Like I said, Dre jumped in a couple times, and just trying to get better and move Minnesota boxing along.
Quincy, maybe just could you talk a bit about, when you work with all the boxers in our state, you're hosting a big fight this weekend. Just what's this like for you to be a promoter behind it?
For me, it's a fun world. Being in my background with basketball, the biggest thing that makes basketball fun is that you get to meet all sort of people. You go to the courts and you go to NBA Summer League. You run into your rest of soul, your Kobe Bryants and your LeBron Jameses, and you get to chop and talking to these guys. And so that's what makes basketball fun. Boxing ain't no different. It makes it fun because you get to run into people that you never would have run into. I mean, for example, Caleb, I've seen this man fight, 15 times, on TV or pay-per-view or whatever it may be. I watched his last big fight with Caleb Plant, and to sit here and be like, wait a minute, that's Caleb Truax. He's like a former champion, bro. You know what I mean? So, that's an all factor. Juwan James, former champion, COD. You don't get you see these guys on TV and you're like, yeah, that's a former champion. And all of a sudden you're rubbing elbows with these guys. And not only you're rubbing elbows, but they're willing to give information and help open doors for you to create these type of events and give you ideas and give you, little nuggets to help, make sure you're successful. So for me, that's why I love doing this. It's always been about the athletes. I was one of those athletes when I played basketball in my day. Now being in boxing, it's the same thing. sitting back and watching these guys perform at a high level, and being able to bring guys like Slink Proper and Andre Reid over there, who's starting his career, you know what I mean? That's what it's all about. Being able to just get these guys to rub elbows with vets like Caleb, because those vets like Caleb, they have tremendous knowledge. They've been, I can't even remember off the top of my head, how many fights?
This will be 40.
I mean, come on, man. You know what I mean? You're talking about 40 fights over there. And we're not talking about chump fighter. We're talking about he's went up against the best of the best. So what better way to learn is from, getting in the ring with guys like that. So at the end of the day, it's just a plus at the highest level. I can't complain at all. So any questions from you guys that you have for these guys that you want to ask?
Got a question for Dre. As Coach Q was just saying, this is your second pro fight. You're here with a couple legends, Minnesota legends. How does that advance your progress, and how does it advance your mindset coming into Saturday?
Yeah, I'm very blessed. I'm able to have people who have a knowledge and experience in my corner, and able to listen to them. They give me knowledge. They get in the ring, show me how things work, show me how to be a professional, show me how to walk that walk already. My goal is to definitely be one of the best fighters, definitely be a world champ. And in order to do that, you have to already walk that walk. You have to already have that mindset. You have to already live that. So I'm surrounded by people that has already lived it and is still living it. So it's indebted in me. So I'm very grateful. I'm ready to put on a great performance, and I'm ready to keep going in my career.
Caleb, you talked about fighting in Minnesota. You don't have a lot of fighters that you can go against and spar with. Does that put you at somewhat a disadvantage when you're going against other fighters who are from other areas that may have more access to fighters to train with?
It does. Myself, thankfully, I've got to a level where I normally can bring in sparring partners to mimic the style of the person who I'm fighting, my opponent. So it hasn't been a problem with me in my bigger fights, but this is a smaller fight that was added late, so I didn't have the option to bring in a guy that was specifically tailored to my opponent. And so I've been working with Slink. I've been working with Tony Woods, who's a 12-0 pro. Corey Thompson from Alexandria. He is I think he's 5-2, I believe, as a pro. Just working with whoever I can get in the ring with here in Minnesota. Some amateur, Jared Bradford, who's a Golden Gloves bronze medalist a couple years ago. Niles Johnson, who was also a Golden Gloves national tournament 2 years in a row. So I just been trying to work in with whoever I can, and for this fight, just get as many rounds in as I can.
Same question for you, Slink, in terms of your training.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find yourself at somewhat a disadvantage because you might be going against fighters who, from other areas, who have more, can bring in more fighters and to work with more people, while you here in Minnesota, you don't have that same kind of access?
I see what you're saying. No, because the way I train, I just can't imagine people just willingly training like that. You know what I mean? I just don't see. I just don't. My own. It's only myself. I'm only in battle with myself, and when I train like that, it makes me feel like I'm capable to handle anyone out there. And then especially when I get in there with guys like Caleb, and I'm able to, just to survive. Not even survive, just be able to work with people like that. I feel like their knowledge is going to add to the knowledge that I'm learning, and then it accumulates together. He's fought everybody around the world. What can somebody in Indiana or Las Vegas show me that he hasn't showed me? Or Jamal James, what he hasn't showed me, or Ishan Owens, what he hasn't showed me, or all of these guys that are very dominant in the game that I'm in. So no, I feel confident, man. I feel confident. Did I answer that question right? I got off track. I just forgot what you said.
You're good no matter where you are.
I'm good no matter where I'm at. You already know. Yeah, fact.
Hey Quincy, a quick question for you, kind of being a new promoter in the scene of Minneapolis or Minnesota boxing scene, and kind of a question that I asked Caleb when I did an interview with him yesterday. You know, when you talk to people in the business and maybe around the country, you know, what are your thoughts? What do you tell people about the Minnesota boxing scene and what it's like?
I think the boxing scene is very underrated. That's the first thing I tell people. You know, Minnesota is one of these places that if you can't look at it as a whole, and I'm just being directly and remotely honest. You know, there's a group of people. Those group of guys, they focus, right? Sometimes we generalize everybody in sports. Okay, these guys are like these guys. These guys are like these guys. Minnesota is very different. You have your guys that play boxing, and then you have that core that really focus and get things done. That's what I tell people when it comes to boxing. So there's that core, like, yeah, they do it for fun, and they're here. They show up once a week or twice a week in the ring, and you know they think they feel good, and unfortunately their records show or their performances show. Then you have that core guys. You know, your Slink Proppers, your Andre Reid, your Caleb Truaxes, your Jamal Jameses, your Vishans, you know, and Tony Woods, those guys that, you know what, they're in the gym every day. They're putting their 3-4 hours in a day, and they're ready to go. And those are, so when I talk to people that I know, when it comes to, you know, that I've been introduced, Top Rank, PBC, the guys that I've been introduced to, that's what I tell them. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong. You know, Minnesota has that crew over here, but I'm telling you, there's some guys that they're locked in, and those are the guys you want to get involved with because, you know, I mean, just these 3 guys alone, these guys are animals. They work. I mean, you know, I've seen Caleb's coach on him, and he listens to everything that he tells him. You know, Dre and Slink will tell you, I'm on these guys like a hawk. You know, Coach Shane, I'm on them like a hawk. You know, I don't sit back and, I mean, it's. You know, if you're not doing it right, I'm on you, and that's how it should be. That's how I want to represent Minnesota. I don't want that side. Not saying those guys are bad. I'm not hating on them, but I don't. Sometimes the wrong group of people can represent your state, and I don't want that. I want the right guys representing our state. Caleb's one of those guys. Jamal James, Slink Proper, Andre Reid. These are the guys I want representing the state. So that's what I tell people.
Appreciate it.
Andre, you fighting, you boxing and sparring with a former champion, sparring with guys who are going to make you better. How much have they made you better in terms of being a fighter, and how much you feel you have helped them be better in their training as well?
Yeah, like I said, I've been blessed throughout my whole boxing experience and life, my boxing journey. So I believe that when I come to the table and come in the ring, I'm definitely helping as well as I'm getting help. Even if it's just things that I don't know, I'm going to bring that pressure for them. I'm going to bring them punches. I'm going to bring them counters. I'm going to bring something to make them work on things that may be their weakness. You know, I can't necessarily give them the best work, but I'm going to give them that work that I know how to give, and they're going to feel me when they leave that ring. And as far as just being able to work with them and the experience, man, it took me a long way. My mindset is much different. It's no longer a come in the gym and work and leave. This is 24/7, all day, all night. Understanding that patience, understanding the art of boxing. I came into boxing, I would say, kind of an angry kid at first, and you get humble. You understand that whole being angry and punching ain't gonna work in boxing. It's a part of that. You gotta have that heart, but this is an art. And if you don't got the art, it will show. So I've definitely been able to learn the art so much more being around these guys. And so that's the biggest take I take from them. And just being confident now in who I am and how I fight.
Caleb, as close as you are now to the fight, you know, it's not this coming weekend, you know, it's next weekend. What can you tell us about where you're at with your training and how things are winding down? You know, you mentioned that you've been doing sparring with these guys, with Dre and Slink, but can you just give a breakdown on what the last 2 weeks are going to look like for you?
These guys are obviously all done sparring. You know, they're healing up for their fight on Saturday. I will work through Saturday, so I'm going to spar tonight at my gym and probably go 10 rounds, and then I'll spar again on Friday. So I got a few more hard days left, and then taper down next week, and just try to heal up and be as healthy as possible before the fight. That's usually how it goes. You know, boxing, we taper up and then taper down to be healthy for the fight. So a couple more hard days, and I get to relax for a little bit.
Nice. I see you got 8 count next to you. I heard a rumor. Is it actually going to be in the Armory?
I hope so. Yeah, they're working to get it in the Armory for the fight, and if it is, I'm gonna get up on the top rope after I knock this guy out. And Stone Cold.
Oh, Stone Cold. Nice.
No, they're trying to get it in the Armory, and I think they're gonna try to have it here as well.
Oh,
for
great.
the fights at Element. So,
Yes, sir.
hopefully they can get all that straightened out.
Awesome.
I
Good
just
deal.
want to say, y'all are representing Minnesota proper like, because back in the 70s when I started covering boxing, it was not well known. We didn't have world champions. We had a couple of contenders, but y'all have put Minnesota is hot right now for boxing. I just want to say it's nothing like the 70s. Y'all all are on social media now. You're known in the households now. Back then there was no outlet. There was nothing in the 70s for boxing in Minnesota. Nothing. So I just want to say y'all take advantage of what you got going.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. That's real.
No, it's a blessing. It's all about the knowledge, and it's all about trickling down that knowledge. And you're seeing it firsthand. From the experience of being in the ring. I had a couple fights as an amateur, but I've been training my whole life. Majority of my adult life, from me to boxer to the next boxer, and even this. I had him sit next to me. This gentleman right here, Coach Shane. He deserves more credit than anybody will ever know. He's my right-hand man. He's the guy that that helps me, allows me to do other things that I need to do, as far as putting shows on and stuff like that. So to be able to, not only give it to them, give it to him, but also him as well. I asked him to come because, I believe in him, and he knows what he's talking about. When I train and work out, he tells me what to do, and I listen to everything he says. So it's a blessing to be able to just trickle down, and you see it in all the generations, from the experience to the trainer, to teaching, to showing a trainer how to train, or in showing a boxer how to box. And that's what this is about. So for me, this is a very prideful, blessed and humble moment, because you really get to see the generation of just how boxing is going from down, and it's just going to go on and on and on. So it's a blessing.
I apologize, I got here a little late, so if you already answered it, just skip over it. But everyone's got chapters in their career, in their lives, and things like that. Could you describe what chapter you're in, and maybe where this weekend or weekends fit into that?
Me or
The whole
everyone?
crew, yeah.
Well, I'm old, man. I'm 39 years old, and I not hiding anything about it. I only have a few fights left. I don't want to fight too long. So this fight is a fight to get me back in the mix. It's I wouldn't call it a tune-up fight because the guy's pretty decent, but I needed a fight after being off 2.5 years to just get back in the mix. And I made no secret that I want big fights, and I want them here at the Armory. And I'm hoping to get past Burley Brooks on next Saturday and bring a big fight back to the Armory in front of my hometown fans. Hopefully a title fight or an eliminator type fight. And I'll be 40 in September, and I don't see myself fighting too many more fights. Maybe 3-4 more, 2-3 more, something like that. So I'm in the what's the afterward of my career? whatever. Not the forward, the afterward.
Go ahead, Dre.
I guess I can go and say I'm in that grind mode, beginning part of my chapter. I have some amateur backgrounds, had my first pro fight, so I'm starting my pro fight off. I'm in grind mode. It's learn, build, show who I am, stay humble, stay with my team, and learn. Just like anything else in life. You start off something, you gotta learn, and you gotta take everything that you're getting, you gotta make it fit for who you are, and then be confident and then work it. So that's just where I'm at right now, and I'm super blessed to this be my only second pro fight, and I'm standing here with some great guys, with a great team, with a great family. So I'm blessed, and I'm just ready to get this chapter pushing hard.
As far as go ahead. Oh, I thought no, but as far as me, I don't know what part a chapter this is in my life, but it's a good one. I'm having fun. I'm just in the moment, and I'm just trying to take advantage of everything that's given. You know, I'm in the receiving mode. I'm just receiving everything and present. So I don't know where I'm at in the chapter, but it's fun. It's definitely fun.
Dre, so you said you're only 2 fights in, and I was wondering, do you think you were able to define your style, or is that something that continues to evolve as you start your pro career?
That's a good question. I think a little bit of both. I feel like it's a lot more of me having to learn who I am as far as in this boxing world. I want to say amateurs didn't really give me the best. I've learned a lot about who I am in the amateurs, but amateurs and pros are totally different. So just learning more in the pro world, just even through these 2 camps, I've learned a lot more about myself. I was like, oh wait, this is actually a strong suit for me, and I didn't know, and I was not working on it. I wasn't using it to my ability because I didn't really recognize that was good for me or that worked for me. And then there's some things that I know, like, all right, I'm confident on what I've been doing since day one, and it's still working, so I'm gonna keep that moving with me. So it's a little bit of both. Some things I'm gonna keep pushing with me that I know I'm confident in, and it's a lot of stuff that I'm learning every day, like, oh, I'm pretty good at this one. I'm gonna work this one out too, and I'm gonna get better at this. So just both.
Which question?
About his, can I ask the question about his style? No, he does not have a style. I should have. The whole time he was answering that question, as easy as he's 2 fights in, he doesn't have a style. The style is we're going to win this fight, and we're going to keep getting better. That's his style. Progress.
Anybody that wants to do one-on-ones, everybody will hang around and make themselves available.